Bum, ba-dum, bum, bum.
We look different. Try to record it like this if you can.
This way.
As close as you can.
All right, got it.
What are we doing? You're probably wondering at home.
Other than, today's a very original episode across all fronts.
Yep.
I'm not wearing a hat.
Which is crazy to me.
Yeah.
Because this is a hats only episode, or a hats only podcast, as you guys know.
I'm wearing Birkenstocks with socks and stocks. So
tie-dye at that. Those are Galaxy, actually.
They're like Galaxy Nike Elites. I watched White Men Can't Jump last night, and I got inspired by Jack Harlow.
And we're recording this on our phones. Because I clearly have no idea what the fuck I'm doing.
Also,
bleep out that phone.
No idea. Will you quit saying
bleep out that one too. So, welcome back to Normalize Talking About Watches, episode 21. We are having some issues. And we're not sure what they are, man.
Yeah, so full story.
Yeah,
go ahead. Full story.
Yeah, give them the full story. We got plenty of time on this podcast to chat.
So obviously we don't know what we're doing, but we are figuring it out. And we came in and we actually filmed this episode Monday morning. Mm-hmm. Today is Thursday morning. We filmed this episode Monday morning. We went back to look at it and listen to it, and the audio was all jacked up.
Big time.
Like every syllable was missing. It was like, hi, my Joe and podcast. Well,
that's actually a very accurate. Yeah. That's very accurate.
Yeah.
I don't know. We don't know what's going on. We have some ideas. We don't have time, unfortunately, today to fix it. But something with the microphone's communication to the software that we use is glitching. I don't know what it is, but it sounds terrible. And this actually doesn't sound too bad. No. Hopefully. We've tested it a couple times before we committed to the phone route. So we're going to do the phone route, and we're going to hold our phones like this, like we're
talking on the phone.
Yeah. But we're right next to each other.
Right. So that's fun.
And we have another audio option down here. There's another audio option connected to the computer or the camera.
That's a camera.
It's hot as shit in here, too.
It's hot in here.
Okay.
That's okay. We'll be sweating.
I'm going to go turn the air on.
Oh, you're going to turn it on?
Why don't you start?
You got to keep that thing running.
I'm going to keep it running.
Okay.
I'm going to go all the way
to keep that running.
Joe's going to entertain you guys
while he does that, and we try to just continue to figure out this deal. It's just funny, like, doing the podcast thing is like, you run into all kinds of random issues. Like, nothing ever works when you want it to work. On the days where you're really low on time, that's when all the issues pop up, and it's just kind of the inevitable reality of trying to do something, and it's kind of fun.
Yeah,
I enjoy the troubleshooting side. Like, we're both extremely frustrated right now, but at the same time, it's kind of fun because we're just vibing out and trying to figure this thing out.
Yeah,
and
it's not a big problem. There's much bigger problems in this world.
Yeah, we could have much bigger problems. And you know what? Before we get into, so this is gonna be a big deja vu episode. That view is funny, and we're gonna have to remember to go back to
that view is goofy.
That view is funny.
Just since it's recording, I'll put a little. I'm gonna put a clip from this angle in.
Up there.
Oh yeah, we'll put it up there. We'll put a clip of the angle in of the camera that we have down here, like doing backup safety recording, and it's just looking up at us. It's goofy. You guys can see it by now. Go ahead.
It is weird.
What you were saying.
Well, I'm going to say, so this is going to be a big deja vu episode for us because we already did record and talk about a lot of the things that we're going to talk about. We're going to revisit a few things that we talked about last time in a later episode. Mm-hmm. But like the main beef, obviously we're talking about the new Daytona. We're talking about the new Rolex that was released because I'm mind blown. Nikki C's mind blown. Mm-hmm. We think it's awesome. But before we get to that, we have something pretty cool to share that's on both of our wrists.
Yes.
Yours is cooler, I think, than mine.
Well, it's a new watch alert.
Yeah, new watch alert. So I'm going to start with me.
Okay, go ahead.
Because mine's less cool.
They can't tell what this is from this angle.
They can tell what that is from that angle.
No, this is a rubber beast strap. This is a horse. Which you can put on any watch.
You could put that on any watch.
We have this exact strap on a watch that we own that is not this one.
And it's ironically similar.
Yeah, but they probably already saw this watch from a distance.
Right.
Maybe not, though.
I don't know.
I want to keep it tucked.
It does
keep
pop.
it in the holster.
Keep that thing tucked. Right. I'm not going to keep this thing tucked because this deserves to be everywhere, out in the open. Mm-hmm. This is an absolute beauty of a watch. This is for sale. It is for sale in the pre-owned section at Dimitri Jewelers. It is a Cartier tank, and I don't know like an abundance about tanks, but I do know that they're a watch that I've always been fascinated with, even though I don't know if I think it is the majority. The majority of the time that you see them, they're on women.
Agreed.
I could be wrong, but that's my understanding, right?
No, I think you're right.
That's my perception, at least.
I think you're right.
That said, I want one. I think they're awesome. They're an awesome fit. This one's actually awesome. So this is a navy blue strap, and it looks like a Cartier strap. I believe it is a Cartier strap.
I think that's a
really really cool buckle. We'll get some photos. And the tanks, you can distinguish them because they are a rectangle shape. So the tank, I've got a little history up on my phone here, was first crafted in 1917. So this is a really old watch design.
Respect.
It really hasn't changed that much from what I can tell.
No.
And it was basically designed after the tanks of World War I.
Wow.
Which is really interesting. And so basically when the Renault, I think it's Renault tanks that were used on the quote-unquote Western Front, this timepiece was supposed to capture them and their quote-unquote practical yet refined design and engineering. So the top is a silhouette of the tank. So that's why it's a rectangle. And then the sides are supposed to mimic like the tracks of the tank. I don't know if I see that. I mean, it's just a rectangle, right?
Well, if you look at the edges,
because the edges are rounded,
right? So like that would make sense for the like conveyor belt style belt wheel, but yeah, I mean it's a little bit of a stretch.
It's a stretch. I do understand it, maybe, but it's a. I get it, right?
Yeah.
The coolest part about it to me is on every single one of these pieces, on other Cartier pieces as well, is this sapphire that's on the end, the crown, and I
think that's cool.
Absolutely beautiful.
I think that's a sneaky. No other, to my knowledge, no other brand does that. Yeah. Throws like a precious jewel on the area that you're messing with at all times.
I don't. Off the top of my head, I'm not thinking of one.
No.
Yeah. So
maybe no, I can't think of anything.
Yeah. So I mean, this is again, I've always loved Cartier. I think we should do an episode one day on the Santos.
We should just do an episode on them as a
Cartier as a whole,
because there's a big debate there of jewelry company versus watch company, and they are legit. They're a legit watch company, but they're more famous for jewelry.
Yeah, they're both.
But and we were talking about that watch. A lot of people would consider.
I would consider this watch a more of a piece of jewelry.
Right.
I mean, the photos will make it obvious, but the dial is solid color, so it's a solid navy. It's got a Cartier at the top and two hands.
Not super practical.
Yeah, it's not like ultra practical. There's no tool function to it, but it is a beautiful piece, and so it almost is a watch that is a piece of jewelry, right? And
agreed.
Relative to
it's a jewelry that's also a watch.
Okay, yeah, it's a piece of jewelry that doubles as a watch.
That also tells the time. Right. It's more, I would say it caters more to the jewelry side because it's...
Yes.
If someone asks me the time and I'm wearing that, I'm getting out my phone.
And this year, they released the Tank Normale.
Which I think is freaking so...
Awesome. That would be like an investment grade piece.
Impossible to get.
Impossible to get, like an investment grade. Like if you can get your hands on that, get your hands on that.
They're only making like 200 of them.
Yeah, I'm going to take I think the light was shining on my face.
Yeah, oh wow. It was.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's all right.
This episode's ragtag.
Yeah, this episode's ragtag. My bad. So I think that I would love to have a Cartier tank at some point. I would also love to have the Santos, and we can get into that. But basically, the Santos was the first ever pilot watch.
Which is crazy because it doesn't. Yeah,
for that
it doesn't do it. Yeah, we'll talk about that. But it's funny that it does. That's a fact.
That is a fact. So more interesting than this watch.
Well, I have a question about that before we get to this watch.
Go.
So that watch, hypothetically, actually, do we know how much those are brand new?
No clue.
And we don't know how much this one is either right now. But
$5,000.
Okay,
roughly.
Reverso is a similar price point, correct?
Yes.
Or am I wrong?
You're not super correct, but it's similar. Yes.
Similar, but they're both under $10,000,
depending on what you get.
Okay. Oh yeah, because Reverso can get
a true. Well, so the true. I think the
a basic Reverso.
Yeah, but I think so basic Reverso, mono face,
pre-owned,
monoface.
Yeah, not
under
not the
10 grand.
full, okay,
But
not the full
a true
reverso.
reverso that actually has
Both.
another side to it. I don't see them under 10.
Okay, I was gonna say just because that to me, like I'm getting a reverso over that,
They're two different pieces.
and that's basically
Because
what
I
my
think
question.
the reverso, is based in watchmaking.
Yeah.
It is truly one of the highest quality watchmaking there is. Not that Cartier doesn't have the technology to do that on some of their like substantially higher end models, because I do think, maybe, and this is just a thought, but I do think, their super elegant skeleton pieces might have some higher end watchmaking in there.
Yep.
Because they're showcasing that.
Those watches are sick, by the way.
Yeah, those watches
We'll throw
are-
a couple up on the screen as we
Yeah,
chat.
those
here.
watches are incredible.
Skeleton Santos.
Yeah, but
Dope.
I think that the JLC models, those, whether you see it or not, that watchmaking is top notch. I mean, they used to make.
So you don't think it's one or the other?
No,
You think it's?
I think they're two separate.
You can
things.
have both.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a badass.
They have
watch.
similar. They have similar vibes, right?
Yeah.
but you're not wrong there.
Very from a distance.
Yeah, they're super similar.
I
vibes.
wouldn't know,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I'm not too
Well,
familiar
as
with
soon
these.
as you
and
saw
I'm
the sapphire on the end, you'd know this is Cartier.
yeah, I'm not too familiar with either brand, but from a distance, we were talking about this earlier today. We both have realized we both are like watch snipers, just walking around the streets. Like, look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that, and it's
I've gotten good at
fun
it.
to do, but it's cool that we're getting to the point now where like I would say we could. From a good distance, be like that's either a this or this, but it's very small margin of error, which is fun to do, and that's why I bring this up because it's interesting because I wouldn't feel confident sniping that from a distance over a reverso because the sides even look the same. The reverso edges are curved like that too, so that it can slide, so you can flip it. So it looks very similar to that,
It does. I mean, I think.
but the crown is obviously in your face.
I think it's the crown.
Yeah.
The immediate notifier would be the crown.
Yeah.
Anytime I see a sapphire on a crown, I think immediately,
Pause.
boom. Why are we pausing? What happened? What's going on?
Pause yours. We're good. Pause yours. Yep. You resumed?
Yeah, I'm resumed.
Okay. Just troubleshooting. Quick
yep.
quick check. Yeah, all right. Well, so dead giveaway, crown. I was just curious, but that was my one question.
I think we should leave that pause in the episode.
Okay.
What do you think?
I don't know.
All right.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
So if you're taking the Reverso as a separate watch, you would have both in your collection. Is that fair to say?
In a perfect world, I would have both in my collection. But if I was picking an either or, I would take the JLC.
Yeah. I just think they both fit the same mold from an appearance standpoint. If you're trying to get like a unique looking, arguably, I think I said this to someone in our DMs or someone. I was talking to someone about the Cartier tank. Didn't someone comment? Someone commented on one of our posts and was like, "What do the boys think about Cartier tank?" And I said, "Arguably one of the best wedding watches of all time," and I'm sticking to that. But I would also say that JLC is a great wedding watch as well. So if I were to get
When you're
one-
saying wedding watch, you're just saying a dress watch in general.
yes,
Right?
I use wedding watch because dress watch I think is what everyone says. I say wedding watch because that's how I would. That applies to my life. If I'm dressing up, I'm probably going to a wedding.
Yeah.
Which is like.
So I just like each brand for something different, right? But I like Cartier. I like jewelry. Like I like men's jewelry. I like women's jewelry. Like I like cool jewelry.
Yeah.
And I see Cartier in that category.
Yep.
As like, you know what? Like I want to wear something that's like really cool and something that like is like design wise something that like makes me happy to look at and I think is just really dope.
Yep.
But like I don't really care about it holding its value. I don't really care about the watchmaking on the inside of it, right? Versus the JLC, like I love the way it looks, but I'm thinking more of like the history of the brand as a watchmaker.
You can nerd out on that.
I can kind of nerd out on
that's
it.
a
I can know
horological
that like I know that like they
thing.
used to make the movements for AP and Patek and various other companies, and that they finish all of their movements no matter what. And
yeah, it's really high
it's this
end.
like super cool brand.
Yep.
Not that Cartier is not. I mean, that's my perception. And I could be completely wrong. So if I'm out of line here, someone check me. But
no, you're not. I mean, if you ask 10 people,
I think
is Cartier a watch brand or a jewelry brand? They're all saying jewelry.
Right.
Guaranteed.
Yeah. So
But
I mean,
That being said, they're sneaky, sick watchmaker as well. Like I want a Santos for sure. Like that's definitely a watch I will get eventually. It's definitely not something that's on the top of my priority list. But
outside of the Santos, we should be okay on timing. Unless that thing just died.
Yeah, let's go with that.
I'm sorry. We just lost one of our audio sources.
I mean, come on. Just can anything go as planned, you know? Jeez. What is this?
Wait, are we emojiing? Are we bitmojiing? No, we're not bitmojiing.
Dude, I'm getting pissed off, man.
Just leave it. F that one. I mean, we're going to
all right, we've lost one audio source.
We have lost one audio
source. These
source.
things I think are going to be crispy. So
I like the crispy ones, yeah.
All right, so anything else on the tank? Other than...
No, I would just say...
we're probably going to be shopping around for those just to keep an eye on them and see
100%. I mean, this one's beautiful.
I like that one.
If you're looking for one, if you're currently on the market for one, so I'm at for maybe the first time in a long time, I'm not currently on the market for a watch. Like, I'm not...
BS. You're always on the market for a watch.
I know, but I'm not.
I know what you mean.
I'm not like going.
I'm not either.
With the intent or even the want or desire to buy a watch. Right now, I've got like so many new purchases and just so many watches that I just am really enjoying wearing.
Yep.
That I just don't have a fit in the weekly schedule right now to say.
If you got a new one, what you're gonna?
When am I gonna wear it?
Yeah, you're gonna have to push one away.
Right now, when am I gonna wear it? Because I've been wearing the Seiko way too much.
No such thing.
Wearing the Nomos all the time. Like all the two colored dials that I got, I've been wearing all the time. I've been wearing the old brass watches. I haven't worn a Rolex in 3 weeks. I don't know.
We're gonna get
I'm gonna figure that one out.
Demonetized by you saying that.
Why?
Because we're no longer a watch podcast. Nah, that's actually awesome, and that's perfect fit for our brand. Actually,
I mean, I don't know. I'm just.
I wish I could say the same, but
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I've been enjoying wearing kind of a little bit of everything, and I've been wearing my Swatch a lot. Which, side note, we talked about this last episode, but not last episode, the last time we recorded, but that's gonna potentially just go to a graveyard because the audio is all messed up. Swatches are so loud.
They are so loud.
Like this one's bugging me right now.
Yeah.
It's there's a Swatch on the desk. It's ticking. It's like got this.
Why don't we talk about that real quick?
Yeah, I mean it's just really, really loud on the wrist.
It's one of those things that, and we mentioned this. It's weird for me to say, but you guys haven't heard it, so it's not that weird. But we talked about the fact that in a quiet space, which Joe and I are both in quite often, like if he's at work or in an office, and I'm working or in an office or whatever, and it's quiet, it's very distracting because you can hear the Swatch ticking. I would argue that it's aggressive.
Yeah. So imagine I want to put you into like Nick's shoes really quick, and I'm going to tell a story. So imagine you are the best real estate photographer in Charleston. Hypothetically, this is just imagine this.
Right.
And you are inside of a really, really awesome, big, nice house. Hypothetically. And you're wearing a Swatch.
Hypothetically.
And the only sound you can hear in this house is the Swatch ticking on your wrist.
It's annoying. Makes you go a little crazy.
I mean, just imagine that, right?
Also, and it makes time move at the speed of molasses in January, which is something my fourth grade teacher used to say. You ever heard that?
No, I've never heard that. That's fantastic.
Oh, she used to say fourth grade or maybe fourth grade. She used to say you're moving at the speed of molasses in January, which is just hilarious. Do you know what molasses is?
Yeah.
And then January it's cold.
Right.
And
it's like every time you turn molasses over, it's just like so slow. To come down the
That's
bar.
how time feels when you're wearing a Swatch in a quiet place. Because you can hear every single second and you're like, what the hell is going on? So we hate that.
Put it this way. If you're ever on the run or if you're ever trying to play hide and go seek with your kids or like whatever it might be, just don't wear a Swatch because you'll get found very quickly. If it's near you, they'll hear your Swatch ticking.
Right. It's the loudest.
Shout out Swatch. You make an awesome watch. It's really, really cool. You can get really fun and creative with them. I love them. Don't get me wrong. But they are so loud.
Yes.
That's all we'll say on that.
Speaking
of Swatches, I have to announce that Nikki C is wearing our newest watch.
And it was a gift. Yesterday. No. Yesterday?
Yesterday.
No.
Yesterday.
2 days ago.
It was 2 days ago?
Because yesterday you picked that up.
I picked this up yesterday.
2 days ago, I went in to see our old friends at Dimitri because
we love them.
We love them. And I just, the real reason for the 5 people at Dimitri, if you're listening to this, they know because I told them there was a parking spot open right out front. And for those of you who don't know, Dimitri is located on King Street, which is the most popular street in where we live, Charleston, which is a very popular place. Very unlikely that
this
you
place
get a parking
sucks.
spot.
Do not come to Charleston.
Yeah, do not move
it's
here.
Not
There's
cool.
nothing to see. There's nothing good.
Nothing to do.
There is a parking spot right out front, and it's like street parking, and it was open. So when that's the case, you stop what you're doing and you park there and you go inside. It's a rule.
That's what you do.
It's an unwritten
Everyone
rule,
that
but it's a
listens
rule.
to this, if that happens, you stop, you park your car,
and you go inside.
You got audio?
I just don't know why it keeps. What's yours look like? Let me see yours.
Take this.
Yeah, I mean, mine was like going like dead for a second.
Yeah, it flatlines if I don't talk.
All right. So, parking spot was open. I went in. Side note story that I forgot to say in the last one. I did gift my dad my Seamaster, which is wild because it's a watch I wear all the time.
And he's listening to this.
Yeah, he probably is listening to this. So
he's the GOAT, by the way.
A watch, yes, is the GOAT. A watch that I wear often. I let my pops test drive it for a few days while he was in town, and it seems to fit his lifestyle. It's rubber strap. It's not flashy. It's rugged to a sense. You can wear it every day. You can wear it with nice clothes. You can wear it with chillin' t-shirt. That's why I wore it so much. That being said, I gave it to my dad. So, cool gift, but I am now without a watch that I wear often. Way often. And I didn't think about that in the moment, obviously, and I don't regret it at all. But what I do know is that now I don't have that watch that I wore, 50% of the time. Mm-hmm. So I'm in there telling them this story. I'm like, hey, I gifted the watch, blah, blah, blah. I need to replace it. Da, 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 da. We're looking at all the options in there, and I couldn't find anything that really made my day. So we're hunting. Matt, our good friend, goes in the back, hands me this watch, and he's like, why don't you use this to fill your gap of white dial everyday beater watch is what I was calling it, which no disrespect to Omega, it's not a beater watch by any means. It's a great watch, but I was calling it that.
Swatch.
Yeah. But no, my Seamaster. I was referring to that as my beater. So they were like, why don't you use this as a beater? This, I don't care if you take offense, is a beater. 100%. It's a $200 watch. $300, whatever. The strap on this is probably worth more than the watch, which is funny because it is on a Horus white rubber. But yeah, Matt gave me this watch and gave us this watch. And I'm like, hey, I'm going to wear it because it's a great gift. So now we have ourselves a MoonSwatch. And this is Mars? Which one is
Mars.
This? This is Mars? Mission to Mars.
Take it off. It's on the back.
Take it off.
That's Mars.
God, that's
so. This is our first MoonSwatch.
Yeah.
We don't have a MoonSwatch.
No.
We've never had a MoonSwatch on the show. So
Mission to Mars.
Mission to Mars.
Red.
Bam.
It's cool, man. Actually, I do like it because it's hype, and I think it's a cool looking watch. I don't think I'd ever buy one though after having it. It's so cheap. Just honest opinion.
I disagree.
You disagree?
I wore that all the morning. I know. It's light. It's super light.
It's
a
not
little
made of
dainty,
carbon fiber.
But I disagree. I think the Jupiter's sweet. I think the Saturn's awesome. I think for what they are, they're bad. They're bad. Not a word. They are bad to the bone. Bad to the bone. Bad to the bone.
Well, I don't know.
I think they're sick.
Yeah.
You don't like it?
That's
okay.
I don't like that it's so cheap, but I do like that.
But that's what makes it cool. It's an affordable.
Yeah.
And it's a Swatch.
Yeah.
I mean, so you have to understand. You got to think of it through the eyes of Swatch. It's an expensive Swatch. It's not. It's not a cheap Swatch.
No, well, I'm saying cheap because it's cheaply made. I'm not referring to the price point that you buy this on.
Yeah, but also
I'm saying the fact that
are.
Yeah, but that's kind of what I don't like about them.
It might be one of the more well-made swatches. Though.
Maybe.
You know?
Maybe.
Well, movement-wise, I think it's...
Yeah.
Do they have other chronos?
I don't know.
I don't either.
My thing is, it's just like everyone is complaining that they break, the crystal pops off, the buttons get stuck. Like, it's just a cheap watch. But I guess what I do like about it, the one thing I do like, which we've talked about before, is the attention that it brought to the watch world. Yeah. I appreciate that. But then again, I also don't like some of that attention because it brought some wrong attention and people just trying to flip these.
It's a super creative take on one of the most historic watches of all time.
What's your time look like real quick?
My time's at 25, so I think we should hit that thing. We can leave it in the video. We just literally just hit a quick reset on the record. Boom. We're just going to leave everything in this thing. Whatever.
Okay.
All right. We're going to leave everything. This is an extremely raw episode.
The rawest.
So I do think that it's an interesting, like, creative take on the MoonWatch. MoonWatch, I think, is something that should be in everyone's collection. Mm-hmm. And for that reason, I really like it. But I agree with you. It's obviously not very well made, and there's a bunch of, if you go into it with the mindset of, like, this is an affordable MoonWatch, you're just, like, you're going to be maybe disappointed. It's a swatch that was a collaboration with Omega to create, a fun take on a MoonWatch. But it is a swatch at the end of the day. And, I think the beauty of swatches is you can buy a bunch of them and not really be too heartbroken when it breaks or if it breaks. Because I'm sure many of them last a lifetime.
I think if you're going to get if you want a cheap, fun watch, I do think this is one of the better fits. Mm-hmm. It's just not for me. I'd rather buy like a Casio or like a...
100% okay.
Yeah. That's all. That's my beef. But that being said, this one's very special as it was gifted, so we like this one specifically, if that makes sense.
And that one means a lot.
Thanks, Matt.
Yeah. So
it will get a lot of wrist time. It's cool.
We have probably like 10, 15 minutes or so to discuss
the Daytona.
What is potentially the coolest Rolex release of the last decade? Am I wrong?
Decade?
I mean, this is...
No, you're not wrong. I think this might be one of the coolest watches they've released ever. And that's a bold statement, but I have a few reasons why. But go ahead. I'll let you go. This is weird because we've already had this conversation.
It is. I'm going to give my...
But it's for you guys. It's not for us.
Just quick analysis of the drop, right?
Okay.
So Rolex, if you're not aware, you probably are.
Some people weren't. Jamie wasn't sure. Right
if you're not aware.
Because they released 2 new Daytonas in the last couple months.
Yep. Rolex released a new Daytona. And the new Daytona is an anniversary edition. Mm-hmm. It is a 100th year anniversary edition of the Le Mans.
If you were to say Le Mans.
Le Mans. Okay. Of the Le Mans race.
Like Blanc Paul.
Okay. Blanc Paul. The Le Mans race, and it is a black ceramic Daytona that has...
What?
It's not black ceramic?
No. Well, I mean, I guess, but you wouldn't say it like that.
I wouldn't say it like that.
You'd say
black ceramic bezel. Sorry.
Yeah.
Black ceramic bezel.
Yeah.
I'm trying to like describe the whole thing, right?
I got you. The way you said that, it sounds like the watch is made
the
of
whole
ceramic.
Black ceramic. Yeah. Okay. And maybe we can find a rendering of a black ceramic Daytona.
There is one.
I'm sure. Like a wild man makes it. Yeah, something like that.
Guy that does the renditions.
So a black ceramic bezel Daytona, right? And when you are, and there's on the so the chronometer, tachometer. What is the number? What are the numbers on the outside of the bezel?
I don't know.
Or on the bezel.
I don't know.
What do you call those numbers? I don't know what
tachometer.
Tachometer. So when it gets to on those bezels, there's 100. There's 100. Tachometer.
Which I don't know
on the tachometer, which I don't know what that's for either. But on the 100, which is in like the bottom left quadrant, the 100 is red, and all the other numbers are white. And then it's a black dial with what Nick relatively predicted earlier in the year, subdials that don't have any. So all of the subdials on the modern Daytonas and mini Daytonas have like 2 subdials, right? Like a small subdial. And then like a little outer ring. And even on the most recent models that mimic what's referred to as a Paul Newman Daytona, it might be a full color subdial up there, but there's still the outline of the outer subdial, right?
There's there's that ring border.
Right. And so the really cool thing about this Daytona, which Nick kind of predicted or asked for as a release, is a remake of the Paul Newman Daytonas where there is no break in the subdial. It is a fully solid subdial, which is really, really sick. And then on top of
so different from the other options.
It looks massively different. And then on top of all of that, this thing comes in white gold and it's like 51 grand, right?
Open case back.
Open. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Shit. Crap. Darn it.
Darn it.
And it's an open work case back, which is the new thing that they did.
And
a new movement.
A new movement.
For all you nerds out there, it's a new movement, which is awesome.
It does
have no
24-hour. It's so designed in collaboration with the race. It's got a 24-hour timer, which is crazy. So it's a badass release that was released after Watches and Wonders, and that's what's pretty cool about it.
I mean, so you had some interesting insight relative to like your thoughts. I mean, do you remember? I can kind of help spark your memory, but I know what
I remember a little bit, but if I miss something, if you remember, just chime in and interrupt me. But what I'm excited about, and it's funny, we recorded the last episode, I hadn't gotten to speak with our watch people being at Dimitri about it, and then now I have spoken with them, so my mindset has changed ever so slightly, just to get their opinions on it, and they're way more experts than we are, so it's fun to hear what they have to say. But my initial thought was that, and I saw this throughout the internet from other people as well, which I thought was really cool, but I think it's cool that they caught basically, back up a second. Everyone tries to predict what Rolex is going to do, and what all these other watchmakers are going to do. And at the end of the day, like, there's some people that get close, right? Like, for example, we're just talking about it. I was hoping for this, but I could have said that for the last 10 years if I was a watch person, and then it just happens, and then you can be like, oh, I was right. It's like, but you've said it a million times. In this scenario, no one even was close to predicting this, at least in our circle of people and information we get, which is like very large because it's social media, YouTube. We have a good relationship with an AD. So we have a lot of people that would make pretty strong predictions, in my opinion. And this just goes to show you that you don't know shit about anything that they're going to do, because they released this watch in collaboration with someone completely random, which they used to do back in the day. They got the Domino's watches, and they got the airline, like the Pepsi was, small little side note, the Pepsi was made for an airline or something. Do you know that?
It was called Cann.
I don't know.
Not Cann.
I don't know.
Transamerica Airways? Something like that. Yes, I did know that.
It was made in those colors.
Correct.
Because it matched their
thing. It was the airline's colors. Pan America.
Pan America.
It was Pan America.
So that's something that Rolex has not done in a long time. Like, they nixed we've talked about the Tiffany relationship, like all that stuff has kind of just been like killed. Now, this is a watch made in collaboration with something that they didn't create, right? Which is the Le Mans race. What are you smiling at?
I'm laughing at.
Why?
I'm just laughing.
About what?
Because I have internal thoughts going on.
Okay, well, say it. This is a podcast.
Well,
not a neuro.
The internal thought is the comment that Tim made.
What?
On I think on Rolex's post.
Oh yeah. Which we can probably find in screenshot.
We can find in screenshot. Well, no, we're not going to. He doesn't. I don't think he wanted to. He wouldn't want to be like put on.
Okay, well, we could blur his name out.
We could blur his name out. Yeah. So his comment was, he comments on like Rolex's release of this Daytona, and he goes,
Rolex on his.
He goes at Rolex is like, beautiful watch. I've got a better chance of winning the Le Mans race in my wife's Bronco than ever getting this piece. But it's stunning.
I thought that was hilarious, because that leads me perfectly into the next point. Is after speaking with some people in the space, it seems as though this isn't going to be an untouchable watch, which sucks. But like it sounds like, and no one really knows at the end of the day. And
51.5, I believe, is the
51.5
price listed on Rolex's website.
Mm-hmm. So honestly, not crazy, because their other white gold watches were in a similar price point, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were like 40 or 50, something like that.
I believe so, yeah.
So it's not like it's priced wild. Like, they could have slapped a $70,000 price tag on this and been like, yeah, it's got a new movement and it's special and it's limited and blah, 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 blah. They could have done all that, but they didn't, which I think is cool. But yeah, that being said, I think what I was getting to is that it's cool that now they've just let the world know that they're open to collaborating and creating watches based on anniversaries or events or things that have nothing to do with Rolex's history. Because all the predictions are like, oh, it's the 60th anniversary of the Submariner. Maybe they'll release a white gold or titanium sub, which I think was like a lot of people's predictions because there was some anniversary. And it turns out they used the anniversary of a car race to create what I feel is one of the coolest watches.
Which the winner gets a Daytona, right?
Yeah.
The winner of Le Mans.
They're definitely big collaboration.
They get a Daytona.
Yeah, it's
right?
called the Daytona. The watch is called the Daytona because of the race.
Because of the Le Mans race?
Because of the Daytona 24-hour.
Right.
So it's named after the race. So they've done this before.
Yeah.
Like they didn't come. The race wasn't named Daytona because of the watch. The watch was named Daytona because of the race.
Okay, so I missed this. I don't. Maybe other people missed this as well.
What?
The Le Mans race. Am I saying that right? You had me saying that wrong, or am I saying that right?
Le Mans. It's how you say it.
So Le Mans race. That's the same thing as the 24 Hours of Daytona.
No,
They're separate.
Le Mans is the class of cars.
Got it. So it's the Le Mans 24 Hours of Daytona.
It's the 24 Hours of Daytona.
Le Mans? Are we? I mean, I don't know. I don't know the answer to this.
I know enough to kind of explain, but I don't know enough to give you the facts. So let me look it up.
Well, yeah. I mean, so to me, I thought that the Le Mans was like a separate thing. Another 24-hour race. I thought it was
24 hours of Le Mans.
See, it's not the same thing as 24 Hours of Daytona.
Is where I think it's
right. So I don't know. I don't know where the name Daytona came from, but I didn't know that it came from the Le Mans race.
Well, okay, so the Rolex.
And ironically, just while he's looking at that, so ironically, we all thought that they were coming out with a new, because the Daytona came out in 1963, I think. We thought they were going to come out with like an anniversary from then, but it's really interesting that they came out with an anniversary from the inception of the Le Mans race, which was 100 years ago. You see, he's got some interesting information from Wikipedia.
Okay, so the originally known as the 24 Hours of Daytona, the Rolex 24 at Daytona, that's the new name because I guess Rolex has officially been, which we found this, they're the official like timepiece sponsor, is at Daytona International Speedway, and it's been at Daytona International Speedway forever. The Le Mans aspect of it, I'm not really seeing anything popping up like right in my face, but...
Ooh, whoopsies.
What was that?
That was it was like a burp thingy. I don't know. I think that's going to get picked
Bodily malfunctions.
Sorry.
Okay. This research should have been done. Okay.
Sorry.
100th year of the 24 Hours of Le Mans is an annual automotive endurance race that is currently underway in France.
So we have determined that they are separate races.
They are separate races.
So the name did not come from the Le Mans race.
Well, I was referring to the Daytona. The name of the watch, I believe, came from the Rolex 24-hour at Daytona International Speedway.
I misunderstood you.
So, no, I said it wrong. I mean, as simple as that. Yeah. But the Le Mans part is the one I don't know. I don't know what that means. You know?
What does this mean? What is that? What's he doing? Oh, man. All of these are bleeped. Okay, that's fine. So we don't know what the Le Mans race is, without Googling, which we're trying to do on the spot, which is harder than you would think because you have to try to keep your brain going without having like a dead silence.
It says,
which is like awkward.
I'm gonna give up after this, but it basically says the 24 Hours of Le Mans, originally named Grand Prix de Vitesse et d'Endurance, whatever. Oh no, or otherwise Grand Prix of Speed and Endurance, probably the world's best known automobile race. Goes annually since 1923, so it's 100 years since then, of this race. So it is the most popular race. Simple as that. And it's known because your car has to be able to put up with 24 hours of full throttle.
Wow.
So it's the hardest, it's the most stressful race that there is on the car and on the person.
So true racing fans are balking at us not knowing what this race is.
Yeah, but we're watch guys,
you know
not
what?
race guys.
I am learning.
So, all right. So long story short about all that
today.
is they decided to put out a watch that is celebrating something outside of the Rolex organization in a way. Part of it obviously involves them because they're involved with the race. But what is cool is that if you know about their other collaborations, they're involved with tennis, right?
Yeah.
So golf. Probably more stuff that we don't know. I bet they have like some kind of
cricket.
Yeah, cricket or like horse. What's the
horse racing?
No, what's the? Are they involved with horse racing?
No.
What's the polo?
Polo.
Like they probably spawn. Whatever. The point we're trying to make is that they are involved with other things very heavily. Like F1, for example, is Rolex is everywhere sponsoring that. Golf, Rolex is everywhere sponsoring that. They don't sponsor a ton of stuff. Tennis. They're everywhere sponsoring that. So my brain goes to what can we expect from them if this is the kind of curveball they're willing to throw about car racing. What if they throw out like some crazy tennis related watch?
What's going to be the 100th anniversary of the Masters?
Right, something that exactly.
Maybe that already happened. I should know that.
The Masters, I feel like, is older than racing, or no?
I don't know.
Well, either way, it's just, I think what I got out of it was that it's cool to see them doing some kind of like explorative, collaboration. And also it's cool to see them releasing a watch in just a random day, in a random month, in a random year. Well, not a random year. I guess that's the one thing that's not random. But releasing a watch that caught everyone off guard, I think is fun. Because a lot of people are like, Rolex only does this, and they don't care about, like, a lot of people have a lot of shit to talk about them. And this just goes to prove that they've got so much up their sleeve that, like, you really don't know what you're saying if you're referring to them.
So the first Masters was 1934.
Okay. Also, we're coming up on it.
Yep. So, but
9 years from now.
On the topic of what you just kind of said right there, I think that our friend Tim's point is pretty valid. Like, like another sick watch that Rolex releases. Like, this thing is awesome. Like, of course, anyone who could afford that watch or can afford that watch is, like, kind of drooling over it. Like, holy cow! Like, this is a piece of history. Like,
I want this watch. If you can afford that, you call it.
Like, I want this, right? And
100%.
And so it's almost like, oh, cool, another really, really sweet Rolex release that no one can get.
Yeah.
And when I say no one, like, people will get it. But it's going to be, like, I bet R8, and this is a complete guess, but I bet R8.
Disclaimer.
Yeah, no, this is a complete guess. But I bet RAD here in Charles, I bet Dimitri, they might see, like, one.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll see five. Regardless, they probably have, and I know they have thousands, if not tens of thousands of customers.
Yeah.
And, of those, maybe 1,000 or so can actually afford that watch, and they probably all want it. So it's like,
if I could afford
who's the one person that gets that watch? I don't know, but it's not anything against the AD or Rolex. Like, it's just a reality of what the watch is. I hope that the watch stays in production for a long time. I don't know if it'll be a single year thing.
It would make sense if it was.
A single year?
Yeah, because it's a 100th year anniversary of not a Rolex related thing. So I think it would make sense if it was one. Because obviously their other anniversary models, they kept around for a few years. But that's because it was their anniversary.
You're so right.
So, but I don't know. I mean, they got the 100, like, the little 100's red. Like, it's very specifically about the 100 year. Whereas, like, the olive dial day date, for example, which is an anniversary watch, is still available today. And it was anniversary 5 years ago. But nothing on it signifies the anniversary unless you know. Like, if you know, you know. Yeah. Other than that, it's just an olive dial day date. But this watch is, like, it's so in your face that it's a anniversary model.
What do you think so assuming that this watch gets discontinued, what do you think that the gray market prices will be? This is the watch, again, we'll call it $50,000-ish.
$150 maybe?
Oh,
that'd be my guess.
Really?
Yeah. Do you think less?
I'm curious. I honestly,
no.
so
I think
like
150.
Like a Paul Newman, like a true OG Paul Newman, which is a piece of history
Yep.
that no longer exists.
Mm-hmm.
Those run, call it $200,000 and up.
That's why I used that number to get to this one.
Yeah.
I don't think it's worth as much of that because the history's not there. It's there, kind of. It's baked in it, right? Like they are making a tribute to history, but they're not. The watch doesn't have the history.
They redesigned the Daytona this year too to be more similar to the older models, and then they come out with this tribute to Paul Newman. I mean, I do think it's like.
I think it's gonna be sick. I think it's gonna be. I think
this is a storybook in a way.
I think in 30 years it's worth maybe $1 million.
I think it's $1 million watch.
But I think that in the next 5, it's gonna be a 150 watch that gets handed around, and if you want it, you want it. Because if you really think about it. It is cool, but it's not offering much more than a regular Daytona can offer.
I disagree. It's got the open case back. It's got the specific
platinum Daytona,
and we're making an assumption here that this is a 1 year only watch, right?
Yes,
when we're talking about these numbers, right? I'm making the assumption that this is a 1 year watch.
Yeah.
If this is a 1 year watch, truly, right? This is a extremely limited piece of history.
Yep.
And it has an open work case back, which can only be found on, relative to a Daytona, can only be found on the Platinum Daytona that was just released.
Yep.
Which, in my opinion, more of those will be in the market.
The Platinum?
The Platinum.
Probably.
And the gray market for the Platinum is roughly, $115,000 to $135,000. So... And those watches have been released and produced for the last 6-8 years, and they've been in the market. So
that's an anniversary watch.
That's an anniversary piece.
Yep.
So if that, I think it was the 50 year.
Maybe
I'm wrong.
The green wasn't the.
No,
green?
the green was a 50 year. You're
green
right.
and gold.
Yeah. So, but regardless, so assuming that this watch is made for 1 year,
which would
and then gone,
would be crazy in Rolex history.
Right, and it's gone.
They've done that few
1 year,
times
1 year and gone
with a watch like this.
And
the OP was a 1 year.
Yeah, and it's. I mean, I think that it would fetch double. So I'm going to go with, if I were going to go with a gray market price, I'm going to say, I think $250K
right now.
Yeah,
like if someone got their hands on one tomorrow from an AD, flipped it to a dealer.
No,
you think it would be
not right now. Not right now.
Okay,
I think
my number is tomorrow.
I'm assuming this is. Fast forward 1 year.
Okay.
This watch was out for
discontinued.
A year. This watch was out for a year.
Yep. So it's discontinued at the point of 250.
This watch is out for a year.
Yep.
And then it's gone.
Yeah.
Year 2.
Yep.
Like you cannot get it from a dealer at a retail price. And it was a 1 year limited production with all of these new design elements and this red 100 on the tachometer. I can't read. You think I can see that?
TACHYMETRE.
Tachometer. I don't know. Regardless.
All those things, I agree. 250.
Yeah.
If that all happens. 100%. Because if it's a 1 year watch made of precious metal, homage to the most famous Rolex of all time, 250.
Yeah.
But if it's my 150 is in a couple months from now when these are out in the gray market, which I'm imagining we're going to see a few, I think that's the 150. So let's see. Time will tell.
Time will tell.
If it gets discontinued, though, I wouldn't. The sky's the limit for that watch. $1 million. Could be to some people. Who knows, dude? A 1 year release of an open, first time they do an open case back. Too. Like, just think about the things that are specific to just any Daytona. It's a whole new watch with the new bezel. It's got a open case back, which they've never done before, and it's made of precious metal.
And it's got a new movement.
Right, so take out... Look, mine looks like this. Oh, no. That was weird. So take out all of the special things of the fact that it's an anniversary model. It's still an insane watch, Like, it's the first year of... If people care about that, which a lot of people do, like, oh, this was the last year of X. That's why this watch fetches a premium. This watch checks a lot of boxes. So
yeah,
I want one.
I want one.
But I ain't gonna get it.
Yeah,
I don't want that. I don't want that phone call.
I do want that phone call, but you will see me have no issue trying to figure out what watch I'm going to wear because I would have to sell everything that I have.
And what car would you have to drive? Because I'd probably have to trade in the car. I'd have to get rid of a car and all my watches.
Yeah.
To justify it.
Yeah. But
hey,
worth it.
Yeah.
Worth it.
Sick watch, but I'm homeless.
It'd be worth it.
All right. Well.
You ever seen a homeless dude wearing a $50,000 Rolex?
Yeah, you're about to. Shout out Dimitri. If you guys call us for anything above 50, we'll live out front on the front step.
Until you guys start subscribing and liking and sharing this show, and then we'll be able to do that and more and give them away.
Yes.
Which would be sick. That would be the dream. So.
All right.
I think that's about it because I have no idea how that time looks.
It looks good.
Yeah.
24.
Okay.
I think it's 24 something.
You want to do some closing
remarks? What do we got? Oh, the books will be given away soon.
The book is given away.
I'm trying to think. It's basically given. I think we've picked our guy.
We've got our guy.
We're just gonna announce it on Instagram.
We're gonna announce it on Instagram, and shout out to you. You're both a good friend, a loyal watcher of the show. I don't know what you call that, viewer of the show. So we appreciate that massively, and you got some cool watch stories, and I think you're about to have some more. So
there you go.
That is exciting. We're gonna announce that on Instagram. You got anything to say otherwise?
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you, Matt.
For the MoonSwatch.
And for the Cartier. This is also Matt's. Again, this is for sale at Dimitri in the pre-owned case. Go in there. Tell them that Nikki C and Joe sent you.
Tell them that. But my last note about that watch, to not to be super salesy, but why I think that's such a bang for buck watch. You can split that with your significant other.
Oh.
Which I think is dope.
Especially on, she's going to have big wrists.
Are you all the way? Are you hold out? Are you at the last hole? Are you? Get your mind out of the gutter.
I got two left.
She would have to have some relatively big wrists.
That's right.
Which, hey.
That's fine. You could get a new band. You could get a different band, and if you knew how to switch out the bands.
Yeah. I just think it's one of those perfectly unisex watches.
It really is, and it's just cool.
Yeah. It's
a lot of girls like to wear watches loose.
Yeah.
They like to wear them like up on the forearm a little bit and move around, especially Cartier. So
I think it's bang for buck. That's a really cool.
Yeah,
it's not an everydayer, but it's cool.
The Tiffany date just sold, by the way.
It did?
Yeah, it's sold. We should have bought that.
R.I.P. Pour one out. We should have bought that. But financially, we decided not to buy that.
Everything comes down to a financial decision.
Yes.
And that all starts with y'all.
Yeah. If you guys, right now we're having to use.
We're in the red.
Yeah. We're having to use.
We're in the red.
Yeah. We'll leave it there. We're in the red.
Until Celsius sponsors us. And then when we start getting free Celsius.
Yeah. We'll be still in the red, but we'll have energy about it.
Exactly. So we'll still be in the red with energy.
For now, we have to keep drinking coffee.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And paying for our watch straps and swatches.
Yeah. Someone sponsors for something. Just something,
Hey, we have some exciting things coming on. Very soon we're going to have new chairs. We're going to get new pillows. We're going to have merch.
We
have all kinds of stuff. Everything's going to look different.
And we're going to dial
forward.
in these microphones.
These mics are going to work again. We just don't know when that's going to happen.
We're going to have a sound tech come and diagnose the problem. Because it's a real problem.
My nail tech so clean.
All right.
Wait, no, is that the
Thanks for watching, everybody. Joe's going to sing us out of here.
No, I'm not going to sing us out of here, but we do appreciate you if you made it this far. We know that your time's valuable, our time's valuable. That's why we wear watches.
There you go. Adios, amigos.